And welcome back to Jeff Koinange, live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski. I tell you, as Professor Makau Mutua said, tweets are coming in thick and fast, just like scandals in Kenya these days. My goodness! When it's Wednesday and it's Politics 101 and Professor Makau Mutua is on the set, you know we're taking no prisoners. None. Zero. Kinua says,
yes,
he's quoting you from 2012.
yes,
Professor Makau Mutua says, I predict a military coup in Kenya after March 2013 elections if
yes,
those indicted for crimes against humanity are elected.
yes,
That's what you said.
yes.
So they call, are you a prophet of doom?
Well, let me just say this, Jeff, first of all, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The election of 2013 was a watershed in this country, okay? I think you remember that the two individuals who are now in charge of the state, Mr. Ruto and Mr. Kenyatta, were indicted for crimes against humanity by the International Criminal Court, okay? Never in the history of the world had anybody been indicted for things like genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and dared stand for public office. My statement there was about the faith that I had in the people of Kenya.
But
that they would resist this kind of duo taking power.
sure, but later on it was, I guess, you know, the charges were dropped against the president, we know that. And the case against the deputy.
I don't want to use that language. You know, charges were dropped suggests that the charges had no merit.
They had no merit.
No.
They were concocted.
Not at all, not at all, not at all. Those who have followed the process at the ICC, like I have, and I'm sure you have as well, and if you are honest with yourself, you will agree with me on this one particular point, that witness after witness either was disappeared or recanted or were bribed or were induced to change their stories. We know this for a fact. The Kenyan state put behind all its resources and muscle and made it its primary project the defeat of justice for victims of the violence in 2008 at the ICC. I am not saying that Mr. Kenyatta was guilty. I'm not saying that, because he was never found guilty, nor proven guilty. But I'm saying that the charges were not dropped. The case was discontinued because of lack of sufficient evidence.
So you think it could be continued, could be revived down the line?
Ms. Bensouda said that Mr. Kenyatta was involved in a massive campaign to clean up the evidence. That's what the prosecutor said, not my language, okay? And so you discontinue the case in case it's in some distant future. There are people who are willing to come forward and testify, to testify. Who knows, perhaps tomorrow there's a new regime in Kenya, and that regime is willing to cooperate with the ICC. Things could be different.
Case number one, Deputy President William Ruto and journalist Joshua Arab Sang.
Yes.
That looks like it's dead in the water.
The cases against Mr. Ruto and Mr. Sang have followed the same script as Mr. Kenyatta's. The witnesses have been intimidated, they have been bribed, they have been coerced, they have recanted. This is on record. I'm not making this up, okay? I would say at this particular point, it looks less likely that they will be convicted. Less likely. I'm not saying they're going to get off scot-free, because don't forget, I think in the case of, I think it was Thomas Lubanga or it was Charles Taylor, one of those two cases,
Lubanga.
They were convicted on the evidence
of one witness.
Of one witness.
Okay, but Prof, your crystal ball all along has been telling you that Deputy President William Ruto is going down. What happened to that crystal ball? Was it a little confused? Was it mushy?
You know, I hope that, and I know that the audience is an educated audience. The crystal ball is a metaphor. The crystal ball is not a round object. it's a metaphor for good analysis.
Yes.
And sometimes good analysts get things wrong. You know, I would simply say that no one could have predicted the turn of events that took place after the cases were charged. What happened afterwards with the AU coming in, with the Kenyan state and so on, with the witnesses disappearing,
Yep.
I think changed the game plan.
Ahmed from Eastleigh, by the way, Ahmed is saying he's very disappointed you blocked him for some reason. He says you blocked him.
I don't know who he is. Okay. Ahmed who?
It's Ahmed Mohammed.
Oh, okay, not Ahmed
His
Nasir.
Twitter handle is,
I'll never block my friend Ahmed Nasir.
Oh, Ahmed Nasir, the Grand Mullah.
He's my friend.
Okay. So Ahmed Mohammed from Eastleigh says, how can you believe Mutua, who told Jeff Koinange in 2012 that if President Kenyatta and DP Ruto were elected, UN Gigiri office would move? Apparently, that's what you told me in 2012.
What I said was this. What I said was that since no individuals had been elected or been offered themselves for election for the highest offices in the land, you know, after being charged with these kinds of crimes, that once these guys were elected, that Kenya will become an international pariah. And as you remember very well, for the first 1 or 2 years, Kenya was a pariah state. Mr. Kenyatta could not go anywhere. Mr. Ruto could not go anywhere. You know this to be these to be facts.
Yeah, but Prof, in the end, you've been proved wrong. Obama came to Kenya. The Pope came to Kenya. Cameron is coming. Maybe even Putin. I mean,
but you know something? I think that what these leaders realized, and I want the viewers to be clear about this. There is a tension, okay, in diplomacy between today the so-called war on terror, on the one hand, and justice on the other hand. I think some countries, including the United States, and I'm sorry to say, including President Barack Obama, made the wrong calculation that the war on terror, because Kenya is a frontline state bordering Somalia, that the war on terror was more important than crimes against humanity that were committed in 2008. And in that calculus, justice lost.
So you were disappointed?
I was very disappointed in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let me make this very clear. I'm happy Mr. Obama came to Kenya. I'm happy about that. You know, I just wished that he would not have come to bless a regime that I regard as being illegitimate.
Prof, before the break, we talked about CJ,
Yes.
Dr. Willie Mutunga,
Yes.
who's about to retire
Yes.
in literally 3 months' time. He's going. One of his colleagues in the Supreme Court allegedly took a bribe of 2 million US, 200 million Kenya shillings,
Yes.
to judge a case for Nairobi Governor,
Yes.
Dr. Evans Kidero.
Yes.
$2 million.
Yeah, the Kenyan judiciary has a long history of corruption. This is recorded, it is not disputable. When Chief Justice Willie Mutunga took over the judiciary, he took over essentially an arm of government that had no credibility with the population. He took over an arm of government that was infested with corruption. You know, the expression that is popular in Kenya, that, you know, why hire a lawyer when you can buy a judge, was not simply made up. It exists because the justice system in this country works for those who can buy justice. This is the system that Justice Mutunga, Chief Justice Mutunga took over. Turning over the judiciary, reforming it, cleaning it up, creating a new culture of transparency, ethics, competency, and judicial independence is a very tall order. Okay? It is like turning around an aircraft carrier. It's a very difficult job. When I heard about these allegations against Justice Tunoi, whom I must say I do not know him, but I must say that I was very disappointed to hear those allegations. They are serious charges. The affidavit that was offered by, is it Mr. Kiplagat?
Yeah, Kiplagat, Jeffrey Kiplagat.
Appears to be to be a credible document. Whether the allegations in it are true or not, I cannot say. But it appears to be a credible document. It seems to me that Mr. Kiplagat would have either to be a great liar or be a genius to make up those kinds of allegations and for them to line up the way they seem to have lined up. So my guess is that given the history of the judiciary as a corrupt institution, and given the kind of scandals that we have come to see, both in the judiciary, but also outside the judiciary, I would say that wherever there is smoke, there is fire, my brother.
Yeah. Could there be other justices implicated in this? Could the entire Supreme Court, other than the Chief Justice, could they be compromised?
I think that the allegations indicate that there were others who are probably involved. I don't know whether those allegations are true or not. You know, it is not out of the realm of possibility that if you bribe one person, that person does not share the bribe with the other people who are supposed to be bribed.
Sure. So with the Chief Justice retiring in June,
yes,
does he have to reconstitute this Supreme Court, Prof? Does he have to get rid of everybody?
Well, I think there's a process in the Constitution of getting rid of bad judges, corrupt judges. You know, the JSC must make a recommendation to the State House for the formation of a tribunal to investigate allegations of misconduct or misbehavior or corruption. That particular process that Justice Tunoi is now undergoing must be repeated in all the other cases in which there are credible allegations.
Yeah.
So, is it possible that all the justices could be investigated and thrown out? Entirely probable.
Because if there is a runoff in the next election, Prof,
yes,
what could that lead to?
Well, I think that I would hope that the political class in this country has enough sense to know that you cannot run a country without a judiciary. I would hope so. So I would hope that as soon as Chief Justice Mutunga steps aside, that he's replaced by a credible, competent Chief Justice in whom Kenyans can have confidence. I would also hope that if there are other judges who are implicated in misconduct, that they are also investigated very quickly and cleared and replaced before the next elections.
Speaking of replaced,
yes,
Frederick Okango is asking if you were offered
yes,
the Chief Justice position
yes,
once Mutunga walks away, retires,
yes,
would you take it?
Would he be offering the job to me, this fellow? I mean, does he have the power to give me the job, or is he asking if I was
offered by President Kenyatta?
Yes.
Not Mr.
Let me say this. Mr. Kenyatta does not offer a job to anyone under the new constitution. The JSC, has the authority to nominate a candidate whom then Mr. Kenyatta would forward to the parliament for approval.
Yes.
That is the way the system works. So any person who becomes Chief Justice will not be an appointee of the presidency.
And he couldn't recommend?
I think that his hands will be tied. If the JSC recommended a person, he would have no choice. His role in all of this is very, very procedural and formal.
Okay.
Not substantive.
JSC recommends you. Would you take it?
You are really serious about this question?
I am.
You know,
Mutunga is going home.
You know, I think
maybe you can clean this place up.
Let me say this. I have held one position in Kenya, one official position in Kenya, and that was as the chairman of the Truth Commission Task Force. I think we acquitted ourselves very well. I think we enjoyed public service in this country. And so I see no reason why in the future, if a position came up that, whose contours and whose description was requisite to my qualifications, why I would not think about it seriously.
Translation, yes, you would.
I did not say that.
You just said you would.
I did not, let me put it this way.
Yeah.
I'll think about it very, very seriously.
would, huh?
And I'll be humbled and honored to be asked.
So you would not mind being Chief Justice under a Jubilee administration?
The Chief Justice of the country does not serve a regime. The Chief Justice serves the laws of the country, the Constitution, and the people of Kenya. The Chief Justice is not a partisan figure.
Yeah, but
he belongs neither to Jubilee or to court or to whatever other political party
Chief
that
Justice,
there would be.
you would call the president the president.
Let me just say this, Jeff. This is something that you have hammered me on shall I say, for years?
For years.
For years,
Yes.
since 2013.
Go on.
I would simply say this here. I think that it is incumbent upon the three arms of government to respect one another. So I would deal with my counterparts in all the other arms of government appropriately. I would deal with them appropriately.
I get it.
And I would address them with deference and respect.
Including the president.
With deference and respect.
You're a lawyer, man.
Yeah.
You're a born lawyer.
No,
you know that?
but you've got to think about this.
Yeah.
The Chief Justice has got to be able to work with all the other heads.
Correct.
Yeah, and so there has to be mutual respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you work with Aiden Dwale, majority leader, at some point?
Why not? He will be the elected and then the person.
But in
charge
your
of-
Sunday articles, you called him Mr. Sycophant #1.
Well, these are political opinions, and as a citizen of this country, I'm entitled to express my opinions.
Man, oh man.
Am I not? The Constitution provides me
Absolutely.
this privilege.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm a pundit. I belong to the punditocracy, and so I express my opinions, and I did.
Without fear or favor.
Yeah, and I think, as you are aware, Mr. Dwale has also expressed his views about me.
He replied you the following week.
Exactly. And he left no stone unturned.
None.
Yes.
Zero.
Zero.
Yeah.
Although I don't think he wrote that piece.
Yeah. Is he still? No, it was very well written.
It was very well written. The language there was clearly not his. It was a commissioned piece, a hit piece.
So you're saying he doesn't speak English?
Well, I think, you know, let me put it this way. Mr. Dwale can express himself in English, you know, but it is not, shall I say that he is not fluent in the language? I think
This deserves some smoke.
Oh my goodness. I don't think he is fluent in the language.
My cameraman just disappeared back there. All right, Prof, let's take a break, come back.
Yes.
Let's touch a bit on the U.S. elections, because you know you are at the center of it all.
Yes.
You're in Washington, D.C.
Absolutely.
A guy called Donald Trump is sending shivers down many spines.
And Bernie Sanders.
And Bernie Sanders on the other side as
On the
well.
other side of this,
Let's talk about that.
We'll talk about that.
Come back and then conclude everything.
Absolutely.
Folks, my goodness, this show is smoking. Somebody say, oh my.
Oh my.
Professor Makau Mutua, distinguished professor, folks. He's on the bench. He's calling it like he sees it without fear or favor. He says he's an opinionist, and he can state his opinion. It's under the Constitution. That's why we have shows like this, so that people can talk. So let's talk. Keep tweeting at Makau Mutua, at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag is Politics 101. Jeff Koinange, live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski, takes another break.
Don't touch the remote.
Do not touch that remote.
Don't touch the remote.
Better yet, back in a moment.